And we have today a great guest. His name is Jim Harden, and he's the CEO of Compass Care Pregnancy Services. Welcome to our show, Jim.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be with you today.
Yes, no, the honor is ours. Jim, I want to know a little bit more about Compass Care to begin with. Tell us a little bit about the services you provide to pregnant women and the community at large.
Well, the mission of Compass Care is that we're a Christ-centered agency dedicated to empowering men and women to erase the need for abortion by transforming their fear into confidence. Because it's the fear of the unknown future that drives a woman to get an abortion. What are my parents going to say? What about school? What about finances? What about healthcare? What about childcare? And it all hits her like a wave, and she's in fight or flight mode. And our job is to give her all the ethical medical care and comprehensive community support that she needs in order to see her way clear to having a baby, in order to give her the ability to say, I see now how it's possible. Because when a woman faces an unplanned pregnancy, she says, I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I've got no other choice. I need to have an abortion. And so our job is to erase the need for abortion in her mind with, empowering her to be able to say yes to the baby and no to an abortion. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of community support. It takes a lot of funding, but we do it all for free, and we don't get any state or federal money. And so the idea here is to help not just the women in New York, which is the abortion capital of the globe, and getting bigger, meaning more abortions happening in New York because Roe versus Wade was overturned on June 24th, but also helping other pregnancy centers across the country to compete with the billion-dollar abortion complex, because abortionists only do one thing. They just do abortion. And they're only going to do anything. They're not going to do anything unless women pay them. So abortion is abandonment. Abortion is not helping women. It's basically abandoning them and saying you're on your own. And so we're going to give pregnancy centers the 21st century telehealth tools to reach and serve these women before they travel to abortion hub states like New York and California, and before they go online to get these dangerous chemical abortion drugs sent to them in the mail. Because a fraud is being perpetrated on women right now. Over half of all abortions in America are chemical abortions, dangerous chemical abortions. They're 400% more dangerous than surgical. A woman is 5 times more likely to end up in the emergency room after starting a chemical abortion process. And they're being touted as safer than Tylenol. And so our job is to reach and serve her before any of this happens to her and she's re-victimized again by the abortion industry.
Jim, the FBI has time to raid Mar-a-Lago, the former president residence, but doesn't have any time to investigate what's happening with the most recent attacks to pregnancy centers like Compass Care. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened to your center?
Backing up to earlier in May, the Supreme Court, someone in the Supreme Court leaked the Dobbs case that essentially is going to reverse Roe versus Wade. And that began this pro-abortion terrorist kind of crime wave across the country. Jane's Revenge came and started encouraging their cell groups across the various states and fomenting violence against pro-life people and organizations like pregnancy centers. And so they said, you got 30 days to shut down. This was their ultimatum, 30 days to shut down or we're going to attack you. Well, no one shut down because what we're doing is a mission of God. We believe everybody is made in the image of God and deserving of blessing and protection from the womb to the tomb without qualification, without partiality. And so it's very important for us to serve both the mother and the child. And they say, shut down? No, never. We'll never shut down. So they firebombed us. 30 days later, they said, well, see, we told you. They took responsibility for it. Catastrophic damage. $500,000 of damage to our facility. We couldn't use it. But the people of God in the church in Buffalo was just amazing. The Church of Buffalo, hundreds of people, thousands of people, really, hundreds of churches, said, we will not have the mission of Compass Care homeless. We had 3 offers to be up and running in an alternate location the very next day. We didn't shut down. And we have our old facility that was firebombed up and running 52 days later. We rebuilt it. Under threat, by the way. They said, if you don't shut, and they took responsibility. They said, if you don't shut down now, next time it's not going to be so easily cleaned up. It's open season on pregnancy centers, they said. Well, we're under threat. And like Nehemiah in the Bible, we continued to move forward and rebuilt the breach in the pro-life wall and still under threat. Law enforcement's job is to enforce the law equally. Government's job is to protect all people equally, no matter who they are, no matter where they are. And they're not doing that right now. You look at Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood this is an abortion business. They got attacked in Michigan. Remember this? This is on July 31st. What happened to this Planned Parenthood? Well, somebody tried to light a fire at Planned Parenthood, minor damage, but law enforcement, they had a task force get together, and they found this person within 4 days, and now he's facing 20 years in prison. Well, 45 attacks on pregnancy centers, not a single arrest. That doesn't sound right to me.
And who do you think is to blame when there is this lack of investigation and prosecution and enforcement of the law, Jim?
Well, if you want my honest opinion, the Biden administration responsible for the Justice Department. Attorney General Merrick Garland is responsible. The director of the FBI is responsible. He was asked by the Senate Judiciary Committee last week, hey, how many prosecutions are there against these people that have attacked these pro-life pregnancy centers? And he said, I don't have that number. Well, how could he not have that number? And I know the number. The number is 0. I mean, when we were firebombed on June 7th, 6 days later, New York Governor Hochul signed a bill, not investigating the arsonists, but to investigate the victims, pregnancy centers. And then while she was at the press conference signing the bill, she referred to us as subhuman. She called us Neanderthals. And then the Attorney General for New York State came out demanding that Google wipe us off the maps so that women can't find our services. And then you've got 83 other senators and congressmen demanding that Google disallow us from marketing or advertising on their website. You've got all sorts of politicians like Senator Warren coming out saying we need to shut these pregnancy centers down because they're harming women. But who's harming women here? The chemical abortion process essentially reduces care to women. It reduces access to medical care to women. The standard of care to women is it's imploding. They only care about abortion. Here's the motto of Jane's Revenge. The motto is, if abortion isn't safe, then neither are you.
Jim, less than 30% of Hispanics support this current administration. I see a connection, and I want to know your opinion on this. We Hispanics are pro-life and pro-family, naturally conservatives. This administration is getting everything wrong. 90% of the population testified that they're pro-life. Do you see this as a reality and as a cause effect of why more and more people are leaving the Democratic Party?
Yeah, the Democratic Party is being controlled by pro-abortion extremists. They don't realize how much damage they're doing to themselves. I think they realize they have a very small window, and that window is closing. And with these impending elections, they're going to lose a lot of their power. And thankfully, they should be laughed out of office or thrown in jail, because they're supposed to protect all people. They're supposed to, and the basic building block of society is the family unit. And what the pro-abortion politicians are doing is they are destroying, intentionally ripping apart the very fabric of society with all these pieces of legislation and bills and promoting concepts that destroy marriage, that destroy family, and destroy human beings. One of the reasons why the reversal of Roe versus Wade is so important is because it says, hey, a preborn boy or girl is a human being deserving of blessing and protection. And we now have an opportunity to talk again about what it means to be human under God. Because when you lose that, when society gives up on protecting all of humanity, then you lose the basis for a justice system. Justice becomes just a mirage, just a tool of the powerful to manipulate the masses. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with law enforcement.
We saw in Arizona a couple of announcements that Planned Parenthood is trying to open an office in a California high school, because the California law allows for these minors, to go ahead and proceed with abortion and without the permission or consent of their parents. How dangerous is that?
I think they do realize how dangerous abortion is. Abortion causes future it increases the risk of breast cancer. It causes future preterm deliveries. Chemical abortion, which is what they're giving a lot of these girls, they haven't even done toxicology studies on what this does to young girls. It's absolutely a crime, and they're essentially undermining the family and parental rights. It's the job of the parents to hold the family together, and when the government comes along and starts making laws that undermine that and allowing Planned Parenthood to literally destroy lives, not just the life of the baby that's being aborted, but to allow these girls to make life-altering medical choices that they're not even aware of. I mean, they don't understand the gravity of the choice that's being made or forced upon them. They're in a coercive environment, and they need their parents to help them think this through. So it's totally unethical, and it needs to stop.
And my last note is on the latest report that we heard that migrant teens are forced to commit abortion because these detention centers and the officers are not willing to go along with pregnant women. We have over 240,000 people coming every month with this administration. Do you guys do any campaign, or are you aware of what's happening at the southern border with these migrant teens?
There is so much injustice happening with migrants in America right now, specifically women who are being trafficked, and the abortion industry that is covering up the crimes that are being perpetrated against these women. I mean, we saw this happen with a migrant in Ohio who a mother who is also a migrant, and her 10-year-old daughter who was raped. The abortion industry is covering up that rape. Is trying to say that, see, that they're trying to exploit this poor little girl into saying, hey, look, this is why abortion needs to remain legal, because if it doesn't remain legal, then this poor little girl's going to have to travel across state lines. And what happened when you travel across state lines? By the way, that's against the law. To bring a woman across state lines to cover up a sex crime is a violation of the Mann Act. Totally against the law.
But that's why you have these executive orders passed by Biden, so they can cover up this crime, because I agree with you, it shouldn't be illegal.
No, and so there's this tremendous injustice is happening, and we have a responsibility to our fellow man to protect the weakest and most vulnerable among us. And the government is failing in their job. This is a primary function, and if they miss this point, if government misses this point of their job to protect all people equally, they are missing the point of why they even exist in the first place.
I agree.
All people need to be equally protected under the law. This is a violation of humanity. Injustice anywhere. Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and that's what we're seeing. They're willing to kill one life through abortion. Well, they're gonna do that down at the border or anywhere else for that matter.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jim Harden, CEO of Compass Care Pregnancy Center. It's a pleasure, and this is your home to report or denounce anything that might happen at your center or in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.